Guess what? We're back.
We are back here at the Lion Shows for more geeky coverage, cool new technologies. I'm Callie Lewis.
I'm John P. And this is Jeff.
With one F.
Who's already been announced in the chat room, so you guys welcome Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And you're from Basis.
I'm from Basis,
which
yes.
is a newish company.
It's a new-ish company
Right.
and a very new product. We've only been out for a few months now.
So
Awesome.
we've been talking a lot about health tracking and the fitness and health industry. It has
Yes.
been exploding this
Yes.
year. So you are in that industry, and you have some pretty cool stuff going on.
We are. We're sort of at this intersection of the evolution of health and health becoming more and more digital and smarter and more connected, and wearable technology, which is also an exploding trend that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with health, and we're both of those things.
Bringing them together.
Yeah. So Basis is the Basis band.
It looks like you're wearing a watch.
Yes, it does.
It is
Only
intended-
a cool watch.
It is intended to look like I'm wearing a watch. That's part of the point. So our take on digital health is, first of all, we do want it to be conspicuous. We want it to be something that you want to wear. We want it to be something that you do show other people. It's sort of a status symbol that you're doing the smart things for your health, right? Doing your part. So that's the first thing. Second, we thought if we're going to ask you to wear it, we might as well give you the utility of wearing other technology like a watch.
Oh yeah?
But
My
the thing-
goosebumps and everything.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, so we're showing off right now, we're showing off some new designs that we just released here at the show. I'm going to talk about the technology in a minute, but since we're showing off the designs, I'll talk about that. One of the things about wearable technology we feel is that if you're going to ask people to wear technology, then it ought to look like something that you want
Right.
to wear,
Yeah.
not just something that you're willing to wear because it does cool stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So when we first designed the Basis band, we had this idea of customizability in mind, something where you could change the look of it.
Uh-huh.
So as a part of getting ready for this show and the tech fashion show that was last night, we partnered with a couple of artists, one in New York, which is the one that you're holding,
Yes.
one in San Francisco, which is the one that I'm holding, and we basically asked them to translate their body of work to wearable
A watch.
technology and working with us. So they got to customize the look of the bands. We're offering these now as sort of limited editions. We also do another one that's a little bit more of a classic look that sort of dresses it up a little bit, right? Metal as opposed to colorful.
Okay.
So this is a San Francisco artist who's sort of known for his mural style and illustration style. So this one's called Cityscape, because you can sort of
Yeah,
see
you
that
can
it's a
see.
cityscape across the band. This is a New York artist. You can see it's much more colorful, much more energetic. This one's called Electric Spring. So this is the new thing that we're doing in making wearable technology more fashionable,
Cool.
more desirable to wear, not just cool technology.
So let's talk about what the watch does
Yeah,
itself.
the cool technology part.
The cool
Yeah,
technology
exactly.
part.
Right. So we talked about us being part of this kind of trend in digital health. There's a
Right.
lot of exciting stuff happening. There's a lot of cool products that are part of that trend. Most of those products are based on accelerometer technology. They track motion and then they translate that data into things like steps, which is a great place to begin. We do that too. But our take is that just measuring your activity levels isn't really enough. It doesn't really tell you that much about your health. So we measure activity levels, but we also try to measure real physiological parameters. We actually look at how your body is responding to your activities and your lifestyle. So we measure things like skin temperature, perspiration levels, and most importantly, we measure heart rate.
Okay.
But all the time in
Through
the
your
background.
watch.
Through the watch. There's no
Okay.
chest strap to wear. It's all built into the watch. I'll show
See,
you
that's
the
what
underneath.
I like is that there is no chest strap to wear because
all built
most
into
heart
the watch.
rate monitors, it's all
So
there.
if you can see the back here, I'll trick it into thinking that I'm wearing it, so it'll light up the heart rate sensor again. The heart rate sensor is driven by optical technology, so we're actually using light. We're shining light into your skin and measuring the reflection of that light back into the Basis band. You can see those green lights
yeah.
flashing there.
Yeah.
Right, so by doing that, we can actually see the blood flow. From that, we can get at beats per
Really?
minute and heart rate. Yeah, it's amazing.
Incredible.
It's really based on science that's already proven. When you go to the doctor or the hospital and they put that little thing on the end of your finger, that
Yeah.
pulse oximetry
Uh-huh.
device,
Same thing.
basic
Same thing.
idea. A couple of differences. They're shining light through your
Right.
finger and measuring it on the other side, whereas we're actually measuring it through reflection.
and there's no difference in the actual measurement.
No, and the other big change obviously is theirs is connected to a cord that's connected to a big machine that
Yeah.
sits on the
Right.
desk, which wouldn't be very wearable, so
Yeah.
we've built it into something that you actually
That
can
is
wear.
really cool.
So now that you can monitor my heart my temperature of my skin, my
perspiration, ambient temperature.
What kind of data, when you crunch all that, what kind of analysis can you do? I mean, you're gathering data now. How do you make that useful to me?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'm going to give you 2 layers to the answer, because this is the thing that we worked on maybe even harder than the actual technology and getting that to work, which is how do you make this meaningful to people? How do you make it so that they can, first of all, understand it, digest it, but then act on it? So each of those sensors might produce something interesting all by itself. Measuring your heart rate could be interesting at any given moment. I can actually use the screen of my device to see my heart rate in real time. Using some of these sensors, we do the things that you'd expect us to do. We measure things like steps. We measure things like how many calories you've burned so far today. Because we can combine the data from the sensors, we can do more sophisticated things, so we can measure sleep. And you don't have to put our device into sleep mode when you lay down and then take it out of sleep mode when you wake up like you have to do with other devices. It's just smart enough to figure that out. So we can do sleep duration. We know when you went to sleep, when you woke up. We can do sleep quality by combining data from different sensors.
Is it waterproof?
Yeah, well, everybody in the industry says water resistant, right? Nobody says waterproof anymore.
But I mean, do you have
what
to
that
take it
means
off
for us
before you
is
get in the
everyday
shower?
exposure to water, right? So you can shower with it, you can wash the dishes with it, you can walk in the rain with it, all of those things.
You just don't want to go swimming with it.
Yeah, we don't recommend it for swimming for a couple of reasons, but that's less to do with the water than the force that's typically involved with swimming. So pushing off the walls, diving into the deep end, all of those things, it's really force.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not so much the moisture.
Because the water will get into the cracks.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
But showering, no big deal.
No big deal, washing the dishes.
You
okay, but now
shower very...
One of the big problems with devices, and it's a challenge because of battery technology, but the more we ask a little electronic device to do, the more processing power required and the more battery. So what's our life like on these things?
So the battery, this is a great question, something else that we really worked hard on while we were developing. We knew that we didn't want to sort of duplicate the smartphone experience where you're charging it essentially every day. We wanted something basically where you could go away for a long weekend and know that it's going to work. So with our device today, you're getting about 4 days of battery life before you have to charge it. Now, my particular experience is I plug it in every morning while I'm doing my first couple of emails, tops off my battery, and if I do that for 10 minutes a day or so, then I never have to worry about battery life. But if you want to just wear it continuously for 4 days, you can do that. The more interesting thing, because you raised exactly the right thing, which is the more we ask mobile devices to do, the more processing we ask them to do, the more battery life impact it has. So the beauty about being a connected device, connected to the cloud, is we can push most of the heavy processing to the cloud. We can have most of the really complex math happen on the servers. We do some local processing here for things like steps and calories, but the really fancy stuff we can do in the cloud and therefore alleviate some of the power responsibility of the device.
So show me the functions.
So I'll show you 2 things. I don't know if this is the easiest way to show them. Try to hold my wrist like this. So obviously I can see the time. I can see this is how many steps I've taken so far this morning. I can see my heart rate in real time. I can see how many calories I've burned so far today. And if I go back to the main menu, I also see this progress bar that's beneath the main screen, the main time, and that shows me my progress on one of my habits so far today.
Okay, like your goals and stuff.
Exactly. So this idea of habits really is a good segue to how do we actually make use of this data in a way that means something to your everyday life. And we did all the charts and the graphs that we see in this space from other folks. And what we found is, just the basic notion of collecting data is pretty interesting to people for a little while. But then this novelty period kind of wears off, and people are left with the question of, okay, so I can track my steps. Now what am I supposed to do about it? So after really testing a whole bunch of different answers to that question, we landed on this thesis that we call healthy habits. And it's called habits specifically because it's about the idea of taking small, concrete things that you can do in your everyday life and making them routines. So we value taking 5,000 steps 4 days this week more than we value taking 20,000 steps on Saturday. Same thing, but one is a lifestyle routine and the other one's a chore. And so we built a whole system around helping you adopt and get better at healthy habits.
So we're about out of time, but one last question here is, how does my data get from the device to the cloud? Does it go through my cell phone, or how does it do that?
Great question. 2 ways. There's what I call the zero configuration ways, which is you can plug it in, USB. That has the advantage of charging at the same time that it's automatically uploading. There's no configurations or connections to figure out.
Little app running on my computer.
Exactly, something very, very simple. But every basis band comes with Bluetooth, so the answer for most of your users, most of the day, is going to be mobile.
Connected to your app.
We just launched an Android app, connects to the basis band automatically, uploads the data all the time in the background. You don't have to ask it to upload the data, it just does it. On the mobile device, you can see how you're doing in the habits that you've picked up anytime you want to. And the mobile device is also great for feedback loops, right? We can tell you how you're doing. We can give you those attaboys when you've done something right, or maybe more importantly, we can give you those nudges when you need to be reminded.
Improve. Cool.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
When is it available?
It's available now on our
much?
website, mybasis.com, and it's $199.
Perfect.
Nice.
Thank you so very
Thanks,
much.
Jeff.
My pleasure.
And you didn't see this go anywhere? You guys go check that out at mybasis.com.
Yep.
And you talk to the chat room real quick because I want to talk to him about a review unit.
You want to do that?